For so many of us, the stress isn't just about passing. It's about the environment itself. That fear that something totally out of your control could just torpedo your whole certification attempt, that fear is very, very real. Now, no matter which way you decide to go, you're going to be dealing with one company, and that's Pearson VUE. They're the exclusive gatekeepers for every single CompTIA exam. And what that means for you is that you have two very different options they offer, each one with its own set of rules, its own risks, and its own rewards. Okay, let's start with the classic route, going to an in-person testing center. You can think of this as the controlled, totally predictable option, your own personal fortress of solitude where the only thing you have to battle is the exam itself. The biggest plus here is that you're basically outsourcing all your stress. When you're at a testing center, it's their computer, their internet connection, their quiet room, it's all on them. You don't have to worry about your roommate walking in or your internet deciding to take a coffee break. You just show up and you focus. And this user, IT_CertDoctor, really hits the nail on the head. It's all about peace of mind. If their computer crashes mid-exam, that's their problem to fix. It's on them to get you rescheduled, no skin off your back. In a high-pressure situation like this, that is a huge, huge psychological bonus. But what about the other path? You know, the one that promises you can take the exam from the comfort of your own home. Sounds amazing, right? Maximum convenience. But as a whole lot of people have found out, that convenience can turn into pure chaos, and fast. So Pearson VUE's online platform, it's called OnVUE, and it's sold as this incredibly flexible thing. Test whenever you want from your home office. But the reality? Well, the reality is more like a gauntlet of super strict technical and behavioral rules that just pile on a whole new layer of stress you didn't even know you had to worry about. And when I say the tech requirements are strict, I mean they are no joke. This is not just some simple app download. You need a specific OS, they strongly recommend a wired internet connection, and you can't have any corporate firewalls or VPNs running. That pretty much means you need a personal computer. And forget about your comfy gaming headset or your awesome dual monitor setup. Nope, not allowed. And here's the real kicker. Even if you pass the system check before the exam, that's still no guarantee it'll work on test day. So, let's say you do everything right. Your room is prepped, your tech is flawless, you are good to go. You'd think the hard part's over, but now you meet the proctor. And this, my friends, is where things can get really, really weird. Yep, you heard that correctly. Just moving your lips while you read a question, something a ton of us do to focus, can get you a threat of disqualification. You are being watched and listened to constantly, and the rules are completely absolute. And then sometimes the conversations you have just defy all logic. I mean, can you imagine? You're trying to focus on network ports or encryption standards, and you get pulled into this surreal debate about whether or not you actually need your computer to take a computer-based exam. Then you've got the physical rules. There are no scheduled breaks. None. The second that exam starts, you are locked in. You cannot get up. You cannot leave the view of that camera for any reason. If you're at a testing center, you can take a bathroom break. The clock keeps running, but you can go. At home, that is not an option. And this one really shows how inflexible and, frankly, how unfair the system can be. It's built to catch cheaters, right? But in doing that, it can create these incredibly stressful situations for people who just don't fit into a perfect little behavioral box for all sorts of legitimate reasons. All right, let's switch gears and talk about the one thing that connects both experiences. The cold, hard cash you spent on that exam voucher. Because there are some very, very specific rules you absolutely need to know if you don't want to just throw that money away. If you miss your appointment or you don't reschedule in time, the consequence isn't a little slap on the wrist. It is simple and it is severe. Yep, that's the official policy, and it is completely unforgiving. There are no refunds, no second chances. If you're a no-show, you lose every single penny. This goes for both testing centers and online exams. All voucher sales are final, period. Now, the one key difference you gotta pay attention to here is about rescheduling. For a testing center, you have to make any changes at least 24 hours beforehand. For the online exam, you actually have a little more flexibility. You can technically reschedule right up until your appointment time. But just remember, for both of them, if you don't show up, that fee is gone for good. So, after all of this, thinking about the controlled environment of the testing center versus the potential chaos of testing at home, how in the world do you choose? At the end of the day, it's really a risk assessment. If you're the kind of person who just wants to get rid of every possible problem that isn't your own knowledge, and you can get to a testing center, that's your safest bet, hands down. But if you have a totally bulletproof tech setup, a room that's quieter than a library, and you absolutely need the flexibility to take an exam at 2 in the morning, well, then the at-home gauntlet might just be for you. Just go in with your eyes wide open.
So as you're doing your final review, here's the real question you need to ask yourself. Because in the world of CompTIA certs, understanding the rules of the game and the place where you're going to play is every bit as important as knowing the content. Choose wisely.